Good evening and salutations, my Beyond the Gates fans. So, clearly, we're going to sit there and be talking about starting off with Danny. Because here's my issue with Danny. Before we even really kind of like dive into a little bit, here's my issue with Danny. Danny's friends are generally yes people. Yes women, yes men, just for the most part, except for her mother and her dad every now and then, it seems like most of the family just kind of just let her get away with anything, right? So she finally wakes up, realizes, oh shit, like I trashed this whole place. Um, what am I gonna do? So she winds up calling her friend Pam, which looks good by the way. She winds up calling her friend Pam. Pam comes over, she helps out cleaning. Well, she messed up the frame and the wine bottle and everything like that. So she was able to sit there and kind of like replace the wine and like the frame and everything like that. And while they're cleaning up a little bit, there's one point where she's freaking out, but then at the next minute she's like, "Oh, it's fine." Like she just stops cleaning. She's like, "No, it's fine. They're not going to be here until like in a couple hours or whatever." I'm like, I don't think you have as much time as you think you do, right? And the reason why I sit there and say yes, the reason why I sit there and say that she has a bunch of yes friends is because there's a point where Danny's like, oh, well, Bill drove me to do this. Bill drove me to do this because of X, Y, and Z. And all her friend and Smith are doing is practically licking her damn boots at this point. Oh, well, he doesn't deserve to have you, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, see, this is the reason why you're mostly going to sit there and continue to be that exact same person, right? Meanwhile, you got Bill and Haley. Haley's upset because they're stuck in traffic. She wants to get home, and Bill decides to take a favor, right? Some sort of person that he helped out in the jam or whatever. Long story short, he was able to sit there and get a police escort to get them, to the house a lot faster. I was like, wait, hold on. Let me get this straight. You called an official favor because your wife was pissy because she couldn't get home fast enough? Are you are you serious? Anyway, they get home and the first thing that Bill noticed is that like the security thing wasn't set. He's like, yo, I could have swore I set the security alarm before we left. And it's like, nah, you probably were just leaving in a hurry or whatever. But then when they got inside the room, she started noticing things, or she started noticing that the frame, the picture frame was off or whatever. She noticed that the bottle that Danny replaced didn't have a signature or whatever that was on it. And they're both like, yeah, listen, this is off. And they realize, well, this is Danny. And Bill's like, yo, listen, I'm about to sit there and ruin her. I'm about to sit there and get her arrested, da 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 da. Haley's like, no, I'm gonna handle this chick this time. Okay? So she goes over there, and this is what I was talking about in my stream. I'm like, wow, she finally got a backbone today. Okay. And she goes over there and she puts her ass on notice. She's like, yo, listen, I've been sitting there trying to be nice and cordial to you and just kind of just keeping the peace. But now you've gotten to a point where you push me over the edge. And there's a point where she walks in, she sees a photo. She sees a photo that Danny had like of her younger modeling days. She drops it on the floor. And I was like, yo, I don't know who this version is, but can we was like, can we please get this version? Can we please keep this goddamn version? Because I'm here for it. Okay. She's like, yo, you know what? Listen, I'm tired of taking your crap. I'm not gonna let you walk over me. And she puts her on notice and she goes back home and tells Bill. Bill is impressed. You're like, oh, okay. Like, when did you become a little firecracker? like about goddamn time. I mean, I know it's like been like 3 weeks, but still. So seems that Andre crossed that goddamn line. And here's the thing. Actually calls him out of it. But the way that she does it, it's like the acting is really bad. The acting is really bad. It's I don't exactly remember the words she was saying, but she was like, "Oh well, you clearly have like amnesia, and you forgot that I'm madly in love with my boyfriend or something." I'm just like, y'all just did like one take on that, right? Y'all just did one take and just like, nah, it's cool. Um, but he apologized. She feels that she doesn't want to overreact to a situation. She's like, all right, listen, it's fine. Just don't do that again, right? And eventually, Andre goes to Nicole's place. You know, he said, he wants to drop off some photos, even though it could have been done by a carrier, but he really wants to sit there and talk to Nicole. When Ted also wants to sit there and talk to Nicole, and I'm gonna get to that in a second, but he tells her, he's like, hey, listen, I nearly kissed her. I have, I don't normally sit there and try to go out with women that are attached. And one of the things he said was, why am I suddenly trying to hit on her? Like, I knew her way before she was with Derek, and I never tried before. So, what am I doing now? She doesn't actually say why he's doing it, but I have an idea. It's because now she's unattainable, right? She was single, or whatever, dude was not there getting girls left and right or whatever, so it was fine. But now that she's attached, it's like, oh, like subconsciously, it's like a challenge for him in a sense. But he said, listen, I'm not gonna wanna, I'm just gonna leave that alone, right? So that happens. Now, Eva, the conversation with Eva and Nicole was pretty much about finding Sherry. Yeah, that was her name. Finding Sherry. That was the conversation she wanted to sit there and try to have even find. And Ted comes in there, and long story short, Ted is like, I think this is a bad idea because this is the same woman that lured you to upstairs on the roof, and she wants to sit there and jump. She clearly sought you out for a reason, and you may not be the best person to sit there and help. And in the beginning, she was a little more defensive, but then she understood, like, listen, you're right. Maybe I'm too close to this or whatever, but she still needs help. So, in a sense, Ted's dodged a bullet. Eva, in a sense, kind of dodged a bullet because they're not ready with whatever plan that they're going to sit there and have to exact revenge, which, okay, fine, whatever. Now, Ashley does wind up taking Derek back to her place and, just really showing him some, affection and gratitude and everything like that. Um, just to kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of get that kiss out of her mind. Um, I'm sure in the back of her head, she's a little guilty. I forgot about the pictures of Martin and Smitty, but long story short, scenes didn't really go too. It wasn't that interesting. I mean, I think her name is Samantha. She wanted to date um, Martin, being a control freak or whatever. But actually, like, he was open to the idea a little bit, right? Now, I think the son's name is Terrell. And the reason why I'm sitting bringing this up is because when those two came home, Samantha or Sam or whatever is like, hey, listen, like she's trying to urge him to sit there and talk to their dads about it. And towards the end, they kind of sit there and corner her a little bit. It's like, hey, listen, we know you were being quiet. I mean, usually quiet, but you're a little much more quiet. So what's going on? And I feel like he lies and he's just like, oh, I'm not really doing well in calculus or whatever. So Martin just kind of drops it, but Smitty knows that there's probably more to it. I don't know what it could be, but Now, after that conversation with Haley, she winds up calling Andre. And, Andre gets over there. They start making out a little bit. Andre kind of stops. And, she figured that he just had a bad day, right? And he asked how was her day. He's like, yeah, it was just pretty shitty too. And they kind of just stopped like making out and just kind of just like, just holding each other. And see, that's the thing about like, I guess hookup buddies or whatever, is that most people forget that, well, they can still be buddies. You know what I'm saying? Like they can still just kind of just be there for each other without necessarily having it be a relationship. I mean, I guess it's kind of a relationship, but not a relationship. I don't know if that makes any sense, but um, friends with benefits. Yeah, that's what it is. Friends with benefits. Most people do forget that, the friends part, well, that still exists. Um, mm, anyway, I feel like that's about it for the most part. I don't know if I'll do this style too often. Maybe I'll pick better pictures for um maybe I'll pick better pictures for the video. But this was kind of a last minute sort of thing. It's something that I was not there working on. I was thinking about doing it for the other soaps or whatever. But it also depends on how much time I actually have to sit there and gather the pictures and stuff like that. Um anyway, also I got inspired. Now y'all know the lovely Queen Cat Lady. She has videos that's very similar to this in a sense. So I was like, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll sit there and try something like that. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how often I'll sit there and do it because there's a bit of time to sit there and kind of gather these pictures up and everything. But with that being said, I'm gonna go. I think that's pretty much kind of covers it. Oh, also tonight. So, I'm going to be doing my normal live stream, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and, we'll talk about all five of the subs. On top of that, though, tonight I'm going to sit there and do a little mini trivia sort of game between Ed the Bank and Jonathan L. Um, it's not going to deviate too much from, the soap talk, whatever. That's still going to be a thing. But when I do get those two in there, I'm going to sit there and do a little trivia game. Um, And what I want from the audience, one, don't give the answer away. But if you want to sit there and give like, if you know what the answer is, give a little hints. You can give a little hints or whatever, just to kind of help those two out. I mean, I think they'll probably just get it in a couple of seconds or whatever. But I think I'll try something new. Kind of like this video, really. So yeah. Soap Talk is still going to be the same. But when I get Ed and Jonathan in there, we're gonna sit there and do like a little 5 or 7 or maybe 10 minutes of you know trivia. And then we'll go back to the regular scheduled live stream. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next video.